Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. And in today's episode, I got a Dolphins fan on the podcast today, Skyler Blaine. I appreciate you hopping on, dude.
What's up, Jack, man? How we doing, man? The whole Dolphins fan thing is going to kill me. We'll keep it honest here. Not just a Dolphins fan, but it's a pleasure to be here with you. We've been playing this for a while.
Yeah, we'll talk about your Dolphins a little bit in the podcast. But the first game of Wild Card Weekend is the Cleveland Browns going in Houston to take on the Texans. I want to see where your head's at with that game because I think it's a coin toss. I think anything can happen. CJ Stroud's had an unbelievable rookie season, and the Browns defense has been very good, arguably the best in football. So who are you taking in that matchup?
CJ Stroud's a great story. Fifth rookie quarterback, I believe, to have 4,000 yards in a season. Single-handedly made Houston forget about Deshaun Watson. The list goes on. But in the playoffs, different beast. Experience matters. Time of possession matters. And I just feel the Browns are more equipped in terms of the defensive side of the ball, where they can control the clock, they can do what they want. And Joe Flacco, last time we saw that man in the playoffs, pretty sure you were in diapers and I was still youthful, and the man was.
I don't know if I would go diapers that far, but I was younger.
You're younger.
I was younger. It was 2013 when he won the Super Bowl.
I just graduated high school. So
does he get his playoff swagger back? Do you think he gets it back? Because I think there's a chance. I mean, to end the year, he won 4 out of his 5 starts this year. I mean, that's pretty darn good. For not playing for a while, literally coming off the couch. So
the man has the same exact setup in my opinion that he had in Baltimore. He has guys that can go up and catch jump balls.
And he's got the defense.
Yeah, the defense is solid, but Njoku, Cooper, those guys are hoopers, man. And I think Joe Flacco, he's going to give you 2 picks in the game, but the defense is so good that it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take experience there, and I'm going to go with the Browns.
I think I'm very tempted to go Cleveland because of their defense. But the last time these two teams matched up, CJ Stroud wasn't playing. So I think this will be the first time that the Browns have had to prepare for CJ Stroud. So I'm going to go CJ Stroud getting his first playoff win. I think with the weapons around him, with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, I think those guys, especially Nico Collins, he became the 4th Texans receiver to reach 1,000 yards. He put himself in the conversation. I'm not saying he's Andre Johnson by any means, but he's putting himself in that conversation as one of the best Texan receivers in a single season. So I think he's going to ride that momentum. And CJ, man, I mean, he's just able to dissect any coverage you give him, especially zone coverage. He's able to find the holes. And the Browns like to play zone coverage, but they also, I think, will give him a lot of different looks. I think they'll go man. But it'll be interesting to see how CJ handles the moment, because all year long the pressure has been there. Can he perform? And I think he's going to bring it. I think honestly he will. The only concern I have is rushing the football for Houston. That's the only concern I have. But other than that, I think the pass game is going to be firing. And I think it could be a shootout, honestly. So I'm going to go Texans, though, at home.
I'm going to go the opposite direction, though. I'm going to tell you that the Texans, if anything, overachieved. They weren't in control of their own destiny in terms of if all Jacksonville had to do was win one game.
Yeah.
So,
they fumbled.
I love CJ Stroud. Great quarterback. He's going to be here for a while. God forbid any injuries. But also, let's not the regular season, man. I've seen quarterbacks. I'll bring him up right now. Peyton Manning used to tear up the regular season and got to the playoffs. It's just a different beast, man. You don't have as many possessions. If you're a great team, you have a scheme specifically for the playoffs. So I don't really think that I'm going to if I was a betting man, I'm not going to bet on a rookie quarterback to go into the playoffs their first time and continue the momentum. Because again, a regular season game compared to a playoff game, they're night and day.
I see where you're coming from on that. I think, having that unfamiliar territory being the playoffs, him being at home, I think will help. So, I mean, he's not on the road. If it was on the road, I'd probably agree with you, but since it's at home, I don't see it happening. I just think he's had such a good year. And I think after this year, even if he doesn't win a playoff game, like it's still gonna be. He's the quarterback, and there's an ice cream truck in the back.
I love the ice cream truck. No, honestly, hold on though. I gotta cut you off, man. Like, I'm sorry, you said they're at home, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
They're 6-3 at home, and the Browns are like what 3-5 on the road this season.
But I'm just being honest. I'm not gonna give the Houston Texans a home field advantage because the people in Texas love the Cowboys, man.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. You're 100% right. Yeah. But in the playoffs, home field advantage is home field advantage.
That's fair.
That's the name of the game, right?
That's fair.
Let's move on to the next game where the Chiefs, they're known for home field advantage in Arrowhead against the Dolphins. I feel like there's a lot of ways I could go with this game, but I just I've been thinking about it, and Tua's making his playoff debut and everything, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think because the drop rate is just terrible for the Chiefs, dude. It's been horrendous, and if they're not catching footballs, I'm sorry, you can't really win playoff football that way. So I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to take your Dolphins. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them. I think their secondary will show up, and I think their pass rush will get to Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I just think the receivers of the Chiefs, they just haven't been able to catch the ball.
Oh, Jackson.
I think this is going to be the first time Mahomes has not made the AFC Championship game. In his time here.
I agree with that, but it doesn't start this Saturday. I'm sorry.
I think it'll happen.
What pass rush is Miami sending at Mahomes?
Bradley Chubb?
Gone. Torn ACL.
Okay, well then they're screwed then. But I think they can get to them because here's the thing: the Chiefs' offensive line has not been great.
No, it's been terrible.
It's not been good, and he's running around for his life. He's still trying to extend plays. He's doing everything he can. It's just you can only do so much, especially if the Dolphins are I know you've complained about Tua's throwing. But if their offense is playing well and they're throwing it down the field and they're putting up points, it's kind of hard to beat them. And it's hard to cover a guy like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It just is for defenses. It doesn't matter.
Name a game where you can really look at Tua and go, God, that was a really good win. And I will raise the stakes in his entire 4-year career. Name a game where you go, man, he is the quarterback of the future.
I think personally, the Cowboys was a good win because that's a pretty good secondary. They're that's not a bad win personally. I know you can say the Cowboys, had self-inflicting wounds, but Tua took advantage of the opportunity. He got him downfield in field goal range. There are games that he hasn't performed, but that's every quarterback. The season's up and down. You're going to have bad games. But, to win 11 games, I know he choked the division, but it's still a successful season if you look at it. And the Dolphins have been irrelevant for years. And for you guys to be in the playoffs, I think you guys should be a little more grateful that he's even gotten you here to this point.
I'm not grateful, and here's why. The roster currently constructed fully healthy is in contention with one of the best rosters in the NFL. My thing with Tua, and it was his draft profile and it's what they said to him in Alabama and him coming out as a quarterback. The arm talent is of a guy learning to throw. The arm talent is not there. When you play in a division where we have not won a division title since 2008, haven't had a home playoff game since 2008, the common denominator with these other guys are talking about, you said earlier, quarterbacks allowed to have, bad games or whatever. The difference between, quarterbacks and Tua is this. Tua when healthy in that division, is the third best quarterback in that division. AFC West, Mahomes, who wins Super Bowls, he's the best quarterback in that division. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC East. Period. He is.
Are you, when you say third best, are you putting Rodgers in that discussion?
When he's healthy, is better than Tua.
Okay.
He's better than Tua.
Yeah.
And other quarterbacks who the Dolphins, as a fan and been a fan for a while, the Dolphins have one of the best traditions in football, right? Only undefeated season. Don Shula, Dan Marino. Even before then, you had Brian Griese and you had guys. Dolphins fans, and me speaking strictly as a fan, I don't want to settle for winning 11 games and getting bounced out in the playoffs. Not with this roster. Not with this roster. Tua, in my opinion, is what Jimmy Garoppolo was to Kyle Shanahan. He'll do enough to help you win. He will not be the reason you win. And quite frankly, he's not going to be the reason you win a Super Bowl. And if you want to compete in that division, to cut us off early to get other topics, if you want to compete in that division, the person you're trying to outduel is Josh Allen. And me and you can sit here Me and you can sit here and be very objective about this, right? And go, ain't no way in crap Tua's ever going to reach that ceiling as Josh Allen.
No, I'm not. And I'm not sitting here saying Tua is Josh Allen because he's not. I mean, he's a completely different player. But I'm saying, like, I think Tua, especially you mentioned, like, right situation. Like, this is the right situation for him to at least win a playoff game against the Chiefs team who is not a full strength.
They're good.
Like, it's a winnable game. And I know it's at Arrowhead. It's a tough ask. But I think this Dolphins offense is good enough. Now, I know the inconsistencies have not, they've been there all season long. But I think this time around, and especially since the Dolphins lost to the Chiefs already in the season, I think they're going to be coming in a little bit more prepared on the offensive side of the ball. Now, against Mahomes, anything can happen. I mean, he's going to do his thing, but I think Tua he's going to try to prove, because he's been trying to prove doubters wrong all season long,
which is the first problem.
And I think he can do it, but it is hard. But he's got the weapons. Tyreek Hill, I mean, dude, you got a chance to win a playoff game. You got Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. And to close it off from my end, I don't think they can. I don't think it's like a foregone conclusion that they can't win this game. I'm saying if I want to win a Super Bowl, he's not the guy to do it.
But when you look at it on paper, who is really the best team out of these two, though? Is it Dolphins or the Chiefs? I mean, personally, I think the Dolphins are the better team on paper. If you look at it on paper, they are better.
Yeah, but on
especially
paper,
offensively, especially.
Well, on paper, you know, throw paper out the window when the game starts. I will go on record. And Tua has done great things from the organization. Great teams identify where they need to improve. Just like the Rams got rid of Jared Goff to go win the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford, right? Just like other teams have moved off their quarterbacks being the problem and then finding the solution. You can talk about passing yards all you want. He leads the league in passing yards.
Yeah.
Talk about that all you want, statistics, whatever. It's not a narrative anymore. It's a fact. When he plays against good teams, he looks like not the guy that needs to be at the helm to go further.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I think the Chiefs are good, but they're not elite,
no,
which is why I think I give him a chance. I give him a chance in this game. I'm going to take Dolphins.
I'll take Chiefs.
I'm going to change it up. Let's go Bills Steelers. I think this is a quick one.
Yeah.
This is a quick one. I think Josh Allen's just going to clean them up, and TJ Watt's not playing. That hurts them. I think if TJ Watt was playing, I think it'd be a little bit closer, but not without him. They're not going to have a chance without him.
In Buffalo, the Steelers,
they got no passing game.
They got no offense. Not just a passing game. They have no offense. They
have a decent running game. That's about all they got going for them.
They managed to make the playoffs, and they got outscored by opponents by minus 20.
That's a Mike Tomlin story for you, though. The last couple of years, I mean, he has never had a season under 500, which is like kind of crazy.
But if we're glorifying not having a season under 500 in Pittsburgh fans do not care about not being, under 500.
No, yeah,
they care about winning playoff games.
They want to win. They want to win Super Bowls,
exactly.
not just playoff games.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to go back to the glory days of Big Ben being there, and you got Hines Ward to throw the ball to. I mean,
not Mason Rudolph.
That's what they want.
Yeah, not Mason Rudolph.
No.
Rudolph has a better chance of taking off his helmet than he does winning this playoff game. So I think it's
just funny that like Trubisky got benched for Mason Rudolph.
Trubisky. Oh my God. That's why you don't draft quarterbacks at a UNC. And no disrespect to Drake May. I think he's gonna be a lot better, but
they got some curse hanging over him for some reason.
Because you passed on Mahomes for a guy named Mitch. Anyways, I take the Bills.
All right, yeah, I'm taking the Bills too. Next game is my Cowboys. Again, we're playing the Packers. Everyone knows the last two times we played them, it's been heartbreaking, dude. 9 years ago,
the 4th and 20.
The catch.
The 4th and
the catch 9 years ago.
Well, not just the catch. Let's go a little bit fast forward in time with Dak Prescott as a rookie.
No, not Jared Cook. Not Jared Cook. No, not Jared Cook.
4th and 20,
no,
bro.
that honestly, like if I had to pick two situations of which one was worse, I would say that Jared Cook catch is definitely worse because we were actually like in such good position, and then we blew it.
4th and 20.
They weren't even in field goal range. They weren't even close. And I'm like, dude, and that's what I'm worried about going into this game, because the Packers are 5-0 in our AT&T Stadium, even though we're undefeated at home. But it's like the Packers are gelling at the right time, which scares me. and they're young. Like, they're the youngest team to get in the postseason this year, which is crazy. But on the other side, Dak's having his best statistical season. And he's not turning the football over, which I do like. And against good teams, yeah, the Bills game, he completely disappeared. But, I mean, I just don't see him doing that.
That was preparation. I don't think that was talent. I don't think that was him.
We just got burned on the run. And, like, the Packers have at running back like Aaron Jones. Like, we got to be aware of that. Like, I think on the Packers, he's the X factor. If the Packers somehow figure out how to win this game, which I really hope they don't, Aaron Jones is going to be the reason why they win, because our rush defense has not been good. I trust our secondary. We went through a lot of adversity, losing Trayvon Diggs, Leighton Vander Esch. Like, we've lost a lot of guys, but we've still maintained that good defense. And Dan Quinn is just, he's doing his thing. So I just want us to be able to stop the run. I think the Packers passing game is no threat to our secondary, personally. I think Deron Bland is either going to get cooked or he's going to have a lot of picks on Jordan Love. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys will win it, but
I will say this: the Cowboys should win, right? If Mike McCarthy wants to be employed next year, the Cowboys should win. And also, I'm going to say that I'm picking the Cowboys, but the most dangerous team in any playoff setting is a team that's not supposed to be there. And I think we've talked about that, off the camera.
Yeah.
The Packers are not supposed to be here. No one thought they were going to be here. Jordan Love has already done more than Favre in his first season and Rodgers in his first season. And also, too, the receivers are clicking at the right time. And I really think that
Christian Watson isn't playing.
No, he's not playing, but Jordan Reed stepped up big time. I love Joshua Dobbs. And like you were talking about Aaron Jones, Corey Dillon. I'm going to go on a limb and say the Packers should win this easily. But
easily,
I think it's easily. I think it's easily. Personally, I do. No. Cowboys are at home one of the best teams of football.
Yeah, we're undefeated at home.
Yeah, at home.
So
you're
you can't say easily. If it was on the road, okay, but at home, no. Like,
the Cowboys should win easily.
Yeah, we should. I thought you said the Packers were going to win it easily. I was like, dude, no.
I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm on this planet. Trust me. The Cowboys should win this easily, but it would not surprise me if they lost by a field goal because they're not taking them serious enough. The Packers are a good team. So
I think like the lessons we've learned, like losing against the Dolphins, losing against the Bills, almost losing to the Lions. Like, I think we cannot overlook. We cannot overlook.
You lost that game. You lost that game, but you won.
That was. I'm glad it went our way. I'm glad it went our way. That's all I can say about that, honestly. Like,
I got the boys.
Yeah, I got the boys too. Now let's talk about the Lions, because Matthew Stafford is returning to Detroit, dude. And honestly, I'm getting a little bit of thought. I'm going Rams here. I think the Rams, dude, that offense with Nakua, Kupp, Higbee, hold on. Kyron Williams, dude. Like,
hold on. I'm gonna stop.
There's no way they don't shred him.
I'm gonna stop you at Nakua, and this is why.
Dude, Nakua's good.
No. Listen. Cooper Kupp is still hurt. Right, he is not.
But he's still Cooper Kupp. It doesn't matter if he's 100% or not. He's still Cooper Kupp.
I have to push back. He is not still Cooper Kupp.
He's still pretty darn good.
Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp. He is.
I'm not saying he's that, but he's still an elite receiver.
Their defenses are both sus. If the Lions do a great job at neutralizing the impact that Nakua has, I don't think Kupp is healthy enough for him to carry the load.
No, I don't think that, but that's why Nakua is such a big deal. And I think, like, I know you don't think much of Tyler Higbee, but he's a decent tight end. And I think Stafford will go to him a lot, but I think the run game with Kyron Williams is going to be there. I mean, the Lions defensive line outside of Hutchinson, like, who do they really have to stop the run or rush the quarterback? Like, I just believe that Matthew Stafford, with him returning to Detroit, he's going to want to win in his return.
Yeah, of course he's going to want to win. Everyone wants to win.
It seems dumb to just say, like, oh, like, he's going to win because he's back. Like, but, like, I feel like that's enough motivation for a player, like, personally.
I have the Lions. I had the Rams originally, but I have the Lions, and this is why. I think the Lions' first home game since 1993.
Yeah, 93.
Conrad, 1993?
Yeah, yeah? It's 93.
It's 93. So it's going to be rocking. I think it's going to be a close game. And obviously, McVay, Super Bowl pedigree. Matthew Stafford, they're still very good, but outside Aaron Donald, that team's full of players that should be in high school. So on the defensive side. So I mean, like
I'm not saying the Rams defense is good.
No, I know they're not.
At all.
I'm just saying they both equally on both sides of the ball in terms of offensive side. They both have a bunch of players that can get at you. You know, Amon St. Brown. They lost Laporta.
Well, Laporta's he's like day to day right now, which I think Dan Campbell said he's hopeful to play. So he's kind of 50-50. I think if Laporta's out personally, I think the Lions lose by 17 points because, dude, he is a huge deal. He was he's got 10 receiving touchdowns this year, 4th in the league, bro.
No.
I mean, dude, he's an important piece to that team. And if you take him out, I just don't think the Lions are going to be slinging it like they should.
And I'm going to give the Lions same situation we were talking about before. Rams weren't supposed to be here. Rams were supposed to have, 4 wins this year. They were talking about trading Stafford in the offseason.
But personally, I was one of those guys at the beginning of the year that was saying the Rams were sleepers. And everyone was calling me crazy. Now you can't call me crazy now because they're in the playoffs. But, I mean, they still have I just said they still got Matthew Stafford. As long as he is healthy, they have a chance.
They do,
and he is.
They do have a chance. I like the Rams. I think they're a year away. I'm going to give it to the Lions because it's a home game. And my God, if Jared Goff somehow, some way messes this game up, or Dan Campbell, they just don't come out and they play well in their first home game, it's kind of all right, dude, we've hyped this team up all year. They won the division for the first time in God knows how long. So I'm going to take it to the Lions because if we're doing matchups, evenly matched defenses, but I think the Lions have.
I mean, both of these teams are pretty evenly matched. I mean, it's a coin toss, but
I would not be surprised either way. But I'll go Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rams. I'm gonna switch it up, and then the last wild card game is Eagles Bucks.
I told you Eagles prior, but you know how I feel about Baker. The man has been ridiculed, chewed up like a bowl of bad broccoli. The dude has a chip on his shoulder. I give the Bucks this game, and I think Baker gets a playoff game with 2 different teams in 2 different conferences. Browns 1-1, and I think he'll get one with the Bucks. I got the Buccaneers over the Eagles 24-21.
There's no person that wants the Eagles to lose more than me. But even though the Eagles are banged up, Hurts has got a finger injury, Devontae Smith, he's got an ankle injury, AJ Brown knee injury. They're banged up, but at the same time, I feel like since it is a Monday night game, I think they'll have enough time to get healthy enough to win the game. And that Eagles pass rush, I mean, Jalen Carter, bro, Fletcher Cox, dude, that's the first time the Bucks played the Eagles this year, the Bucks offensive line had no answer for that pass rush. And I just think Baker is playing well. I mean, he threw for over 1,000 yards his last 4 games of the year, but I just don't think he's going to be able to handle the pressure of that defensive line. And I think that's going to be the X factor in the game, personally. Now, I know the Buccaneers, they got some weapons. They got Godwin. They got Mike Evans, who still has yet to have below 1,000 yards in his career in one season, which is insane, dude. He's so underrated.
Hall of Famer.
So, he's the greatest Buccaneers receiver of all time. It's not even close. But I'm going to go the Eagles. I hope they lose, but I'm going to go with the Eagles. I mean, I know they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. It's not great.
The team you play as December is going to be the team you play in the playoffs. That's my opinion. It's too late to switch your identity. The Eagles have so many more issues outside of injuries. They have culture issues. They have guys not bought in anymore. You have guys like AJ Brown. Even in a win, we want to complain about not getting the ball.
Well, he's been doing that for a while though.
His whole career.
So that's nothing new. It's just last year they had guys to be able to control that.
Well, what controls that is winning.
Yeah.
He is a great winner, but a sore loser.
Mm.
In that locker room, it is crucial in any locker room for the quarterback to be the anchor, to be the rock, and to steer the guys in the right way. There's no guys in Brady's locker room undermining him. There's no guys in Manning's locker room undermining him. The Eagles have a culture problem right now, and the fact that you have an offensive coordinator that goes to Indianapolis. Listen, I know coordinators do a great job, and they help develop quarterbacks. But if you look like a completely different quarterback from when one coordinator's there, vice versa to another, That's a glaring issue.
Do you think that like puts Sirianni on the hot seat a little bit?
Well, listen, I think that any coach, and if Doug Peterson could get fired 2 years removed after a Super Bowl, then Sirianni's job is not safe. Like if you fired a Super Bowl winning head coach, Sirianni knows he's on the hot seat. I don't think you should fire the man, but the collapse though, you're 11-2, it was 11-2, 11-1. Whatever you were, and then you win.
Yeah, like it all started. It all started when the Eagles lost the Cowboys in Dallas. That's when it all started because the Cowboys just tore them up. It was
San Fran. It was before that.
Yeah, it was that game too. Yeah, San Fran kind of.
Debo went over there and told you what was going to happen.
They took it personal.
Oh yeah,
they were
okay. Jordan.
Dude,
here we go.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, I don't like the Eagles, but I'm going Eagles. I have.
I got Bucks because when you play a team, and one other thing, they already played them already. So
yeah,
they beat them. And the one thing you don't want to do is play a team you've already beaten because A, the motivational factor goes to the other team because they're pissed off. And also the Eagles have been playing like crap. The Bucks have found a rushing identity.
What about 9 points against the Panthers though?
I don't buy into that because Baker tore up his ribs. He got injured in the Saints game. I don't buy into that. Listen, at any given Sunday, you know that. Any given Sunday, the Dolphins beat the Cowboys. I mean, I'm not saying that the disparities in competition are like that far, but what I am telling you is that any team.
Well, to go even farther, I mean, the Cowboys lost the Cardinals.
Yeah, so at any given Sunday, like I don't like the whole. Well, they lost to this team. It's like it's a new team, new scheme, new preparation.
I get it. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Yeah. I'll take the Bucks.
Yeah, and then we'll skip the divisional, and we'll just give our AFC and NFC championship predictions. Let's start AFC first. Who do you got in there?
Bills, Ravens.
Yeah, I do too. I got Bills, Ravens. I like Lamar Jackson a lot, but I'm going to go the hot hand, and I'm going to go to the Bills. They've won 5 games in a row. Josh Allen, like, he's got so much motivation to get to the Super Bowl. He's had so many failures in the playoffs as of late. And Lamar Jackson just hasn't had that much experience in the playoffs. I think Allen's ready for the big moment. Like, he wants to be in that Super Bowl. He wants to break the Bills' curse. Like, they're the only team to make multiple Super Bowls and lose every single one. So, like, I think he's ready to change the narrative of that team. I'm going to go Bills going to the Super Bowl there against the Ravens. It's going to be a good game, though.
I'll say this. Everyone's been painting this narrative that Lamar is all of a sudden this great pocket passer. I was talking about this with one of the guys in the studio. Lamar is able to now, and it took him a while. He's able to now shred man coverage with safety high. What does that mean? It's not a pass coverage, right? Because you have to stack the box against Lamar. You have no choice.
Because you gotta protect the run.
You have to protect the run. You can't. You have to set the box. If Lamar plays from behind in the playoffs against this game, if he plays from behind where he plays a 2 safety high. That is the testament of a pocket passer. When you complete passes in a pass coverage. It does not impress me when a defense stacks the line, right, with a spy and 1 safety high and you're shredding a defense. You should do that.
Does it impress you, though, because he doesn't have his best weapon, Mark Andrews?
I don't think that's his best weapon.
Who's his best weapon, then?
His legs.
Like, I'm talking like throwing.
Oh, throwing? Why did I say Zay Flowers?
You think, yeah.
I think Zay Flowers is their version of Tyreek Hill. He makes
Zay Flowers had a good year. He's a great year. I love watching him play.
Great year. Zay Flowers, and people sleep on Bateman. That dude's just as fast. So they have a good
Odell's still solid. I mean, he's not what he used to be, but he's good. He's good. Yeah, he's good possession.
Yeah, he'll good possession guy. I think Lamar should. Now hold on, it's in Baltimore though, so like they should win this game. But again, if they get behind, and then I want to see if Lamar can pass the ball on a pass coverage in a dime package, in a nickel package.
I wonder. I mean, he carries the load, but at the same time, like I wonder if he can like actually like carry the load when it comes to like in the air, because like he does. He's dynamic.
He is dynamic.
Like he's a dual threat, but and so is Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen's a dual threat as well. I mean, he just tramples people. Like he's 6'5", like he's absolutely huge.
But that's a different type of dual threat. And also too, people forget this. It wasn't that long ago in 2019 when Lamar won the MVP.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, this is the best team in football. They're going to the Super Bowl. And then what happened? They played the Titans, right? They run into a team that can run the ball and chew clock. The Bills just beat my Dolphins. You know what they did the whole game?
Yeah.
They chew clock.
And the Bills, they got Leonard Fournette now.
Yeah.
I think that's a big pickup. And they already had James Cook.
Yeah. No, I think the Bills, like you said, I'm going to take the Bills with you because
Physically, they're going to impose their will. Josh
Allen has proven to guys that he can play in the playoffs, proven to the fans, proven to the media he can play in the playoffs. Lamar has had, 1-3 in the playoff career? And the one win you can argue was it was against Tennessee on the road.
He didn't have
he beat Tennessee on the road.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He beat Tennessee on the road.
He lost to Josh Allen last time in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, lost by Josh Allen. Yeah. So I said Heine smack. My bad. No, I would say this. I like Lamar. The Ravens are primed for a run, but if they play the Bills,
it's gonna be trouble.
It's gonna be trouble. So I will say this. I will go on a limb and say I'll take the Bills as well. I'll go Bills to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll go Bills to the Super Bowl. My pick was different, but I had to change your heart.
I did too.
You got to ride the hot hand.
You do.
In the playoffs, when you're going in hot, I mean, dude,
you can't stop
it. Momentum is hard to stop.
They had a 3% chance to win the division.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I didn't even think they were going to make the playoffs. They were 6-6. They were not doing too hot.
And the media
they looked terrible. They lost to the Broncos.
Media's turning on Josh.
It looked bad, dude. It looked bad. But the one thing, Josh Allen is great, but I would like to see him take care of the football a little bit better.
He never will.
But
not right now.
Not how he plays.
No, that's not how he plays. He is a mobile Favre.
He's the guy who can get away. He's 500 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and he can throw 4 interceptions. But he can actually get away with it. He's the only guy in the league who can do it.
His identity is arm talent.
Yeah,
that's what. And mobility is his second. That's his second superpower. But that arm talent. I mean, dude, he's the equivalent of Jordan. Step back fadeaway threes with these throws. I'm this man just threw a back foot.
What is it like? He'll be running outside the pocket,
fadeaway,
and then he'll just kind of get on his back foot, kind of lob it up. I'm
dot. But that's what's so funny about it. It's he lobs it up. It's oh, that's picked, and then it's Stephon Diggs running under the throw. Oh, that's a dot. So no, I got Bills 100%.
Okay, let's go to the NFC Championship. Who do you got in there? I got Cowboys Niners.
I mean, dude. You got the jersey on. I know the route you're taking, and that's okay. I love the bias. I love the optimism. I love the faith. But if you think that
okay, personally, I'll say this though. I think this year it's the 49ers Super Bowl to lose.
Oh, 100%.
It is. I will say that. It is the 49ers Super Bowl to lose. I mean, they have all the talent in the world on both ends of the ball. I mean, what? They got over 11 Pro Bowlers on their team right now, bro. I mean, dude,
it's a fantasy team.
It's when you go into Madden and you do fantasy draft.
It's a fantasy
that's
team.
exactly what this team is.
Who the heck allowed Chase Young and Bosa to be on the same team? Yeah, that's not fair.
I believe the Cowboys can put up a game, but I don't think we can beat San Francisco. If I'm being realistic, I don't think we can beat them. Now, do I want us to win? And do I believe we can make the Super Bowl? Yes. But if you're talking about being credible, San Francisco is clearly the better team. And Purdy's been firing from all cylinders. He's got all the weapons from Kittle to Debo to Ayuk. He's got the best running back in the league, McCaffrey, Trent Williams, one of the arguably the best linemen in the league. As long as he's there, he's not getting sacked. And then the defense is a completely different story.
You can't scheme against that defense.
Yeah, and Dak just looked so bad the last time we played them. And they didn't even have the pass rush they have now. They added to that pass rush, which is scary to me because
if you were to win that game, you'd win it because of the defense. You wouldn't win it because of the offense.
Yeah, I think so because last year, I mean, we held San Francisco to 19 points, but the Cowboys didn't score. We only scored 12. So for the Cowboys to have a chance, we got to put up points and we got to start the game fast.
Absolutely.
We got to first drive of the game. We got to go down the field and score a touchdown. No 3-and-out nonsense. I hate it.
I would say you wouldn't have to start fast, but
we have to against a team like San Francisco.
You think about it this way: you saw what the Ravens did to the Niners, and what made it so hard.
They dismantled.
Well, it wasn't a dismantling; it was just impressive. Because if you look at the picks that Purdy threw that game,
hey, you feel 4?
I'm quitting. If I'm playing Madden, I'm quitting. Batted up in the air, and the defensive tackle just happens to be right there. All those batted balls. So, you have to have a defense like Baltimore's where you're tenacious and you're just at the right place in the right time. That game that Purdy threw 4 interceptions, 1 interception was on him. The other 3 were just, my God. Like, congrats, you deserved that pick because it was impressive. I would go Niners for safe reasons because I don't want to. It's hard for me. Like, I just can't trust the Cowboys in the playoffs. It's just tough for me to trust them.
I'll be happy if we get to this point though, because we would have broken the NFC Championship
96
curse. I mean, we haven't been in a minute. Like, I'll be happy, even though even though the Super Bowl is in the cards still, and we are the only team that like has the best chance against San Francisco. I just don't. We're good enough, but we don't have enough. If you know what I mean.
If we're talking about for the NFC, yes, you guys are the best chance because Philly's not the same team they were last year, and Philly would be the only other option because I don't think anyone is taking the Rams seriously outside of the first round. I don't think the teams are taking the Lions. The Lions have had a great story, but they're 3 pieces away. And I mean, outside the Bucs might win one playoff game, and after that, like they just don't have the talent.
Yeah, they just don't.
I'd go Niners. I'd go Niners. Bills. That's my.
Yeah, I'll go Niners. Bills as well. I think San Francisco. I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't win.
It's a Super Bowl for them.
I mean, if they somehow mess it up, like it's on them. Like no team is going to like outright beat them. It's like they're gonna self-inflictedly like lose the Super Bowl for themselves.
It wouldn't be self-inflicted. It would be Kyle Shanahan inflicted because I've seen that guy.
Or injuries, dude. Because like I mean, like in the past, like I mean, they haven't really like this is like the first year like they've been like all healthy for like a while. Like usually Debo has nagging injuries, especially McCaffrey. Like McCaffrey's had a full season of him not getting injured. Like, I mean, that's kind of insane. Like, and when he was in Carolina, dude, like he had so many injury problems. Like,
it helps when you blow teams out in the first half and you sit the rest of the game. So, I mean, I would say that if there's one person that's going to stand in the way, and it's Kyle Shanahan, because I saw that man in 2017. you 28-3, my guy. And all you had to do was run the ball. All you had to do was run the ball. And then don't get me started on the Super Bowl where you're up by, what was it? They were up 21-10 against on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
and then
I do remember that.
And then we have Jimmy Garoppolo over there. You had Debo Samuel open by a mile, or not Debo Samuel. That was who was the receiver in the Super Bowl for the Niners who broke off. Emmanuel Sanders was wide open, and Jimmy Garoppolo happened to overthrow him and plot twist. It was a clean pocket.
I forgot about Emmanuel Sanders. He was dirty, dude.
Speedy receiver.
He was good.
But no, Kyle Shanahan has had plenty of opportunities, plethora of opportunities with the better roster. No one's going to look at me and tell me the Falcons did not have a better roster than the Patriots that year. They absolutely did. And you lost it. So that would be the one guy standing in the way, but I think he finally gets over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he can't because he's got the team to do it. So there's like no excuses anymore. There's no excuses.
So I would go Niners.
So we both got Niners.
Hoist the Vince Lombardi trophy, and Brock Purdy will get an outrageous contract for playing with Hall of Famers.
And trust me, guys, like I really want to say Cowboys, but you just got to be realistic sometimes. Like Cowboys Nation, I'm not disappointing y'all. Like getting to the NFC Championship game is like it's going to be a good feeling because I hate losing the division round. I hate it. It kills me. When we lose to San Francisco in the divisional last year, dude. Oh man, like it's happened too many times. It's happened too many times.
I don't know if it's the youth in you or whatever it is, but I'll look at the camera dead in the face and say, Dolphins Nation, I am absolutely disappointing you because if you guys are going to ride with Tua for the next 5 years, get off my feed. I mean it. Get off my feed because I will never, ever, ever. How long I've been saying this? Since the beginning, since you met me.
Yeah, you've been saying it for a minute.
And you guys were like, "Oh, bro, you're so hard on Tua, this and that." 2-6 against Buffalo, and one win.
You know what's crazy?
Over a team over 500.
You know what's crazy? They're like, I think they've lost like 10 straight games in like cold weather situations.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe that'll play a factor in Arrowhead, but I personally don't think so. But
I'm off them. You can apologize to your fan base, but in terms of the affiliation with the Cowboys, I will never apologize for telling you what I think of Tua.
I believe like we can win, but it's just like, you know, like I mean, San Francisco just owns us, dude. They do. They just own us, and their team's just better.
Josh Allen owns me, man. Josh Allen is my daddy.
They're just better. Like we couldn't beat the Bills, and like, you know, like, and we definitely overlooked them, but I could talk about that all day.
All right, so we got some more. We have
Okay,
a bunch of news today.
Belichick's gone. So do you want to talk about Belichick parting ways?
What's there really to talk about, though?
I mean, just like how bad his career, like how the end of his Patriot tenure ended.
Do we think that his legacy took a huge hit?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you can tell like how much of those Super Bowls were Brady and not him. Now he does get credit for those defensive schemes that he put up, but I mean, Brady was, that's why he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Now I'm not discrediting Bill Belichick. I still think he's a great coach, but in football, it comes down to the players. The coaches can be so good, but if you don't have the players to run the system you want to run,
you hit the ceiling a lot faster.
Yeah, you just don't do what you want, and that's what we saw there. Now, Bill, he could very well go somewhere else. I think the Chargers are definitely a destination he could go to. Like, I think that's a possibility. Him and Herbert. I think that team, dude. If Bill goes to LA with the Chargers, I think they're going to be a problem because they need a culture shock.
They won't.
They need one.
Here's where I'll disagree with you. You are not going to take a chance on a 72-year-old. Was he 72, 73?
I don't think he's that old.
He's that old. You will not take a chance on
someone check the age of Bill Belichick. I don't know him.
You will not take a chance on a guy where there's now, if it was the year after Brady retired and then he left, okay, I'd take a chance on him. There is data out there now. There's too much data out there now.
But could you say like him being the general manager kind of hurt him a little bit for the Patriots? Because like they just didn't surround like Mac Jones with like good enough weapons. Mac
Jones, don't get me started.
They didn't surround him with good weapons. I mean, I know Mac Jones is not great, but like
you got guys that Brady, Manning, and other guys that made receivers great. Look at CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
CJ Stroud's turned these guys into household names. I do not think that people don't understand the impact that Brady had in versus.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like the player coach thing. Like you have to have good talent. Like you can't just be a good coach and have bad talent. Like I mean, it's rare that happens. Like you got to have someone good. Like you can't just be a bum.
Harbaugh's one of the Chargers, and I will say that now confidently. Harbaugh's one of the Chargers.
It's a destination. It's a possibility. I mean, I'm just throwing Bill in there because it's the hottest. It's the hottest coaching job like in the NFL. Yeah. I mean, everyone like. Everyone's gonna be lining up to go coach Justin Herbert. I mean,
100%.
The talent's there
because that's the recipe. All great Hall of Fame coaches have what? A great Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And they need it.
They need it. So like Bill I think Bill interview 100%. But Harbaugh has had a better coaching pedigree the past 4 years. Harbaugh has another thing that's going for him versus Bill is that he's an offensive head coach in terms of he used to play quarterback. So if I'm Bill, what situation out there in terms of coaching vacancies where you're going, I can go and turn that team around in 2 years?
Let me ask you this then. Since you think that, do you think Belichick should just hang it up?
100%. Why risk going to another team to underperform again, and then now your legacy's really taking a huge hit? Versus, hey, you got 6 rings. The Brady thing's not as loud as it could be. But if you go and you leave and then you bombshell again, now it's like, hey, dog, you were just riding Brady's coattails. And I don't think he wants that. And also, he's in his 70s, man. Like, what more do you have to prove? I mean, you want to prove you can win without Brady, but dude, like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
Like, cut your losses.
It'll take a little bit.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll's done in Seattle.
That was overdue.
As well. Which, I mean, I'm kind of, like, a little surprised about that, but like, I understand it at the same time. Like,
outside the Legion of Boom, what has he done?
Just made them like at least a couple games over 500. He'll kind of linger their way into the playoffs. Like, I mean, that's kind of how they've been for the past 4 or 5 years now. I mean, they barely get in. Like, they're like a little bit above average.
His greatest accomplishment to me was being able to market Russ as if he was a top tier. I'm sorry.
And we've seen how that worked out. Like Russ literally got benched.
Yeah.
Which I mean, people were shocked about that, but for the amount of money they gave him, I mean, dude,
are you worth $39 million?
Absolutely not. He's not.
No.
I don't everyone knew the Broncos knew what they were getting. Like they were getting a person who needed to be in a good system to be elite. And like even at the end of his Seattle career, like he just like he was kind of falling off a little bit.
He was never elite though.
He was like he was with the right
elite.
pieces around him. Especially with the defense, he looked elite when he was there.
He was never a top 5 player when the Seahawks were relevant. And by that I mean a top 5 player on the team.
Well, no, I 100% disagree with that. 1,000%.
Richard Sherman or who's better impact on winning? Richard Sherman or Russell Wilson?
Well, Richard Sherman was the better player for the defense.
I'm talking about impact on winning.
I would name. Well, you have to have a good quarterback to win. So, like, if you throw any bum quarterback in there,
I don't think you do because Trent Dilfer proved that narrative wrong. Brad Johnson proved that narrative wrong.
But that's a rare thing.
Exactly. And guess what? They won 1 Super Bowl, which is rare.
That's a rare thing. And like at the time, like before, like Russell Wilson had all this stuff happen, like recently in his career, like. I mean, he was a borderline Hall of Famer, but now I think he's played his way out personally. But I think he was definitely like at least the 5th best player. I mean, what? Marshawn Lynch is in there, Cam Chancellor,
Bruce
Wagner,
Browner, Earl Thomas, Wagner,
Earl Thomas. I mean, the defense was there, but
the defense had the best 5 players on the team.
But I put Russell in at 5 on that list on the team because he is the quarterback.
I can't.
You got to have a quarterback.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but Russell Wilson benefited from one of the best defenses of all time. He benefited from having a running game that forced you to play.
Brady benefited from really elite defenses as well. Like I mean,
Brady did never have a
they still had a very solid defense though.
But
very solid.
Brady was also able to dissect the defense. He didn't have mobility, and Brady can.
You're forgetting about like Vince Wilfork and like a guy like that.
Their defenses are solid, but Brady.
Every team's got to have a good defense.
Oh, for sure. But I'm saying Brady was still the best player on that team, regardless. Of the defense.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a question, but I'm just saying, like, you got like, I mean, that's just how it is.
I'm not a big Russ guy, man. Like,
I wasn't either, but I mean, sometimes I'm like,
you got benched in 2 years.
Yeah, and
you got benched in 2 years.
Yeah, and the Broncos are kind of stuck now. Like they don't have draft picks. Like
the thing about bringing them back now because they can't draft. They can't trade.
Nothing. They have no one else to go to. Like you're gonna go to Jared Stidham. Like I mean, no. Like he's clearly not the best option for you to win. I mean, I'll give Russ credit. I mean, he did play better, but like last year, like it's not hard to beat a season like last year where he was arguably the worst quarterback, like statistically.
Quarterback.
Yeah, he's terrible.
30, and you got
it's not hard to beat that.
$1.95.
Dude.
$1.95 to go out there and not throw 10 tutties.
It's insane.
And then you have the audacity to play the victim
when
you don't get the $39 million. Like, respectfully, dude, you never were worth that contract. The Broncos
the Broncos just saw something that wasn't there.
No, exactly.
And that's reality.
But Nick Saban retired.
Yeah. I'm happy. I am too, because he doesn't have to spank Florida State anymore.
That transfer portal's about to be thick.
But like, I don't know. I heard like Mike Norvell, the FSU coach, is looking to go to Bama.
After all that crying and weeping about
I would literally, if that happened, which like the chances of this happening are probably pretty low, but like I would be so upset.
What?
I'd be so upset.
For who?
For Florida State football, because like it would just tear us up.
Florida State football is one of the most overhyped,
but in the 90s,
conference teams ever to do
in the 90s with Bowden, like we were that team.
With Bowden, yeah, that's great. That's the 90s. I'll look at the camera when I say this. Even with Jordan Travis, you're still getting 60 pieced. You're still getting 60 pieced at full strength.
No.
Yes,
I do not think we're getting 60 pieced with Jordan Travis. Are you kidding me? No, you can't say that. We will still lose.
Who did you guys beat this year?
We'll still lose.
Who did you guys beat this year?
LSU, who has the Heisman Trophy winner.
That's inflated. He should have not won that Heisman Trophy, but they gave it to him. Okay,
I agree with you there because I think Penix should have won.
Penix should have won. LSU,
but it's because he stat padded.
LSU, Brian Kelly. That's not good job. Good job. He couldn't do anything at Notre Dame. He came over to LSU. Can't do anything there. Okay, that's one dub.
FSU is a premier football program. Like we are. We just get disrespected because we're in the ACC and it's not a good conference. I mean, that's the reality of it.
No, you get disrespected because you went and cried about an undefeated season,
bro.
And then got smashed.
But you win every game. Okay, one player does not make an entire team.
You're like right. That's why I tell you, Florida State lost.
But Florida State had arguably the best defense in the country.
You're crazy.
We were third in the nation in sacks.
You're crazy.
Against Georgia, we had 27 players injured, and 4 out of those 5 defensive linemen in that game weren't even playing. Those are all starters.
Both teams weren't playing. It was
Georgia had their starting quarterback, their starting running back, a lot of starters on offense, dude. Like, they had way more starters playing than Florida State did. We just boycotted the game. Like that. Plain and simple.
You boycotted the game because you knew if you went and played at full strength,
no.
would have got smacked.
I don't think. Okay, I'm not like dismissing that we would have lost, but I'm not saying we would have lost by 60. I'm not going to say.
Okay, so what? 3 touchdowns is better? You think?
Losing by 21? Yeah, that's better.
It still creates the narrative you shouldn't have gone to the playoff.
But you can't. There's no way to really prove that because we didn't have our starting quarterback. So, like, there's really no way to prove it.
We
didn't have enough time. We just didn't have time.
You had no wins this year where you go, man, Florida State's really good.
No, I agree with you. We had the 55th strength of schedule this year. I mean, I agree. I agree with you there. But we had our third string quarterback, Brock Glenn, who literally hadn't started a game in his college career, starting in the ACC championship.
It sounds like a skill issue.
It's an experience issue. What do you mean it's a skill issue? It's an experience issue.
It sounds like a skill issue.
No.
Hey,
don't give me that.
What's the saying? Hey, you don't got to get ready if you what? Stay ready.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, we're done with college football talk. One last thing before we end the pod. Caleb Williams, should the Bears pick him?
The Bears have already burnt the bridge with Justin Fields. and when Justin Fields is out in the beginning of the year playing blame game on the coaches, people forget that he did that in a conference. He blame game on the coaches.
He was saying they were limiting him and not letting him, run and all this.
He doesn't want to be there. And
I know he doesn't want to be there.
And so here's my thing. Here's my proposal for the Bears. And you should do it because you'll regret it if you don't. I don't care if it's Drake May or Caleb Williams. You gave Justin 3 years. You couldn't develop him well.
Well, not 3 years. They gave him 2. The first year he started like midway through the year, so that doesn't count as a full season.
As an organization, if you want to reset the QB salary, which is draft another rookie quarterback and get, the 4 years and the 5th-year option, and you don't have to pay because you're gonna have to pay Justin. That's the problem. You're gonna have to pay him soon.
Not for like 2 years though.
But if you reset, they would be smart to trade Justin and then keep the number 1 pick, and then you might trade Justin and mess around and grab the 4th pick or the 3rd pick or whatever it is, draft Caleb or Drake May, and go draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and call it a day.
I mean, I think personally, like, I see your logic, but I think the Bears should just trade the number 1 pick because I think Justin is the guy. I think give him 1 more year. I think he'll prove to everybody that he is the guy. He just has no protection. So I think trade the number 1 pick, get stacked for the future to build around him, get that Penn State offensive tackle. Like, he's the best offensive lineman in the draft. Like, get him and then get a receiver. Maybe if you're not high enough to get Marvin Harrison at that point, draft Malik Neighbors out of LSU. I think he's an absolute stud. Like, I think he could be better than Marvin Harrison. His speed off the line is insane. I think he's a little bit quicker than Marvin Harrison. Now, Marvin Harrison's a good player, but I think Malik Neighbors he's a beast. And I wouldn't, if the Bears trade down, I think they're honestly making the best decision to like be a good team with future picks.
We're talking about the Bears though.
Yeah, but I think the Bears most likely will pick Caleb because they're going to panic. They already are panicking.
The what if, it's just too big of a what if.
But if they're smart, they'll trade the pick.
Yeah, if they're smart, they'll trade
Look
the
what they got last year for trading the pick. They got how many? They got so many draft picks and DJ Moore.
Well, that's the whole reason they have the number 1 overall pick right now.
And they could just trade that pick. Yeah. The Panthers have been giving them Christmas gifts like 2 years in a row, dude. Like Panthers wanted Bryce Young so bad that they traded all this to get Bryce Young.
The owner wanted Bryce Young so bad. Frank Wright and those other guys.
Well, if you could fire owners, he would be fired.
Oh, 100%. But no, I would leave it at this. The Bears will not keep Justin, and if Caleb in the media is well renowned for being a generational talent, if the Colts can move off of prime Peyton Manning to go grab Andrew Luck, Justin, sorry brother, you're not safe.
Well, here's the difference.
You're
with
in
that.
danger.
Here's the difference with that though. Like Peyton Manning had like almost a career-ending neck injury at that point. So that's a little bit of a different situation. It's not like Justin Fields is injured.
If it's not Andrew Luck, you're not moving off him.
But I mean, I feel like they were like at the point like where they didn't know if Peyton was ever going to play football again. So like they kind of were like, okay, we got to tank for the number 1 pick, regardless of who it is, because we don't know if our quarterback's ever going to play again.
Yeah, but also too, again, if it wasn't Andrew Luck, you would have cut your losses and then doubled down on Peyton.
Sure.
If it's not any other quarterback than Andrew,
it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, obviously, they made the wrong move in terms of they ruined Andrew Luck's career with injuries, and then Peyton.
Not giving him enough protection, but at the same time, like I think they didn't know he was going to retire that early, so like they kind of like they were like, shoot, like what are they going to do now?
Peyton would have got you another Super Bowl if he stays 100%. Believe he would have got you another Super Bowl.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. I think like before like the last Super Bowl he got, like what did he break the single season record for touchdowns? Like I mean, he was still at elite level.
He was the best
quarterback
in the league.
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's like the exact same situation, but I see like where you're kind of coming from.
It's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, appreciate you hopping on the podcast. Yeah, Skyler Blaine. Yeah, pray for his Dolphins, dude. I picked them, so hopefully I don't look like an idiot picking the Dolphins.
You will.
We'll see about
people
that.
with Tua jerseys, man. They exist.
Yeah, so. I tell you what, I'm not getting a Tua jersey. I'm not getting a Tua jersey. And what was like since our picks are the same, I guess like that we don't have that bet thing. Yeah, it's the same pick. Yeah. It's the same picks. But I'm Jackson Burleson. Appreciate you guys listening to another episode of the Take Podcast. You take care.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up.